can we commercialize art? And there's a lot has been said here from the pastor and the other speakers. But as I sat there, I was reflecting, and I was reminded of my own youthful days. I'm still youthful. They call current president youth, so I'm still youthful. I was reflecting, and I was reminded of a lady. She was an Australian nurse, and she was called Bronnie Ware, and she spent several years working with palliative care patients, and she was recording thoughts and regrets and stories of people who are about to die. And she wrote a book, and that book is called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. Yeah? It's not a very appealing book, but it's a very good book because it really helps us to think about the end from the start. And as I connected that book with what was being said here, I realized that living a purposeful life is actually an art. Living a purposeful life is an art. Because when you're an artist, before you start putting it together, you already have a vision, an image, a visual in your mind of what you're trying to produce. Kweli ama rongo? Kweli, sindio? So living a purposeful life is actually an art. Everything is an art. And maybe we need to expand the meaning of what is really art. Because when I look around, I see art. When I look at how you are dressed today, when I MC, I see art. Kweli. So there are 5 regrets that this lady recorded. Number 1, just if you can indulge me. Number 1 was, I wish I had the courage to live a true life to myself, not the life of others, not the life others expected of me. There was a lady who spoke about her parents are not very enthusiastic about her art life. You see? So you can see that's one. That is one regret of people who are about to die. Second regret, I wish I hadn't worked so hard. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. And what she was basically saying here is that people work for almost their entire life and never really get to enjoy life. They never really get to live a purposeful life. It's all about paying bills. Yeah? The third regret she wrote was, I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. And what Moria has done in his book is really to express his feelings. He's leaving fingerprints, or rather footprints, that his children can say, and other future generations that will come down the line, they can say, this is how our father, our great-grandfather, our great-great-grandfather, this was his vision. It's an art. He's putting it down. And the fourth regret was, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. Amazing, right? And the fifth regret, and there's going to be a test, so please make sure you note. The fifth regret was, I wish I had let myself be happier. And what struck me when I went through those five regrets, none of them said, I wish I had made more money. None of them. And when you look at the narrative today, people are saying, ni mambo ni kuhustle, sindio? So, but the regret number 2 is what really caught my eye most, because she made a note. She said, every male patient had this regret. Every male patient had this regret. This was the regret. I wish I hadn't worked so hard. Every male patient had this regret. So wanaume msikie, don't work too hard until you forget your family. Make sure you balance all these things. But anyway, remember I was talking about commercializing. And to commercialize, I want to leave you with four takeaways. And number one has already been taken out by the preacher. He spoke about purpose. If you don't have a purpose, it's hard to commercialize what you're selling. You need to live your purpose. And I want to give you a short story about myself. When I was 26 years old, I was being mentored digitally by a gentleman, I now call him the late Jim Ron. And he used to send us something every day on email. And I would spend 15-20 minutes every day in the morning reflecting on it. And he challenged the people who were on that mailing list to do a 12-month program to define their success. So I sat down and I wrote 7 things that I considered to define my success. And the first one was spiritual health. The second one was relationships. The third one was physical health. The fourth one was mental. I won't go into deep because I know we are minding time. The fourth one was mental health. The fifth one was career. The sixth one was financial health. And the seventh one was legacy. I wanted to finish my life knowing that I left a mark. But when it took me 12 months to write, because every month I was writing something. It took me 12 months to write to define my success. But when I finished, I got an insight. And the insight was, out of these 7 things, what is the one thing that doesn't change? And it was the pillar of spiritual health. Your family can change. People are not immortals. And if you hold on to it as your anchor, your family can change. And you lose your anchor and you can go into depression and many other things that happen. Relationships change. Physical health change. Mental health changes. Career changes. Financial health changes. Even your legacy can change. But one thing that never changes is your relationship with God. And I made myself a promise that no matter how much ever blesses me, the pillar of God will always be my center. God will always be my center. It was an everyday thing I was doing, but it was defining me every day. So it defined my success to see all the other pillars through the eyes of God. So if I'm in a family or in a relationship, I was forced to see that relationship through the eyes of God. If I'm doing a deal, how I conduct myself in that deal, I was forced to see it through the eyes of God. And that remains my benchmark even today. Why am I saying this? Because when I finished doing all these things, I found that one thing that is very elusive. And that's what the pastor spoke about, your divine purpose. Your divine purpose. And I defined my divine purpose. And this is how I define my divine purpose. I was created to help people to break the chains of poverty and to create multi-generational wealth. Multi-generational wealth. I was created to help people to break the chains of poverty and to create multi-generational wealth. That for me was the foundation of everything and who I am today and will continue to be for the rest of my life. And I want to challenge all of you young people. If you want to commercialize your craft, you really need to connect it to why you are here on this earth. If you don't connect with it, there's so many headwinds ahead. There's so many challenges ahead. You will give up along the way. Or success will take you out. Success also is dangerous. And sometimes our success is delayed so that we can get enough time to really get grounded on what is really our divine purpose. So that's one. Divine purpose. And I don't talk about that again because it's already been labored enough. The second one is people and partners. People and partners. Everybody around here, you started from somewhere. Everybody here needed a giant on whose shoulders they could stand on. When you didn't have experience, when you just come from school, when you just did your first piece of art, you needed someone, one person, to just believe in you and say, I don't know you, but I'll give you a platform. And I look at all the young people who are here. You are standing on her shoulders. She's giving you guys a platform. And you have no idea the kind of sacrifice she's making. Everybody needs Njoki Karuaya. Everybody. Everybody who is, even Njoki has had her own version of Njoki Karuaya. When you meet that person, that partner, please honor them. Honor them. I have had my partners. I've had my giants to stand on. And one of them, of course, is the late Dr. Chris Kirubi. He truly gave me and gave others a shoulders to stand on and to leap from there. So, divine purpose, divine partners. Divine purpose, divine partners. They say your business partner is even, at minimum, he's at the same level with your spouse. If you get the wrong partner, you're done. I've had some young people here saying there are 6 of them, there are 6 partners. Those partners, you better pray that you're brought together by God. Because when success comes, things do get shaken and you need to be able to hold each other together. The third P and takeaway is divine product. When you have your divine purpose and you have divine partners, I assure you, God will also lead you to divine products. There's a lot of people who are artists out there. And they are getting their merchandise out there. How will your merchandise stand out? And I'm reminded of a story that I read of a gentleman who used to wake up every day at 4:30 a.m. and he would go into the woods to pray. And the area he was living in, they used to plant, I think it was maize. They were planting maize. And things were not working out in that neighborhood. And as he was doing his morning prayer ritual, God spoke to him and told him, tell everybody to plant peanuts. And he gathered a few leaders and he told them, guys, get peanuts, plant peanuts. Don't ask me questions, just plant peanuts. And I'm telling you, these are real stories. They planted peanuts. The success of the peanuts was so much that they came back to him. They told him, we have so much harvest of peanut. What do we do with the peanut? And he went again into his prayer ritual, 4:30 a.m., into the woods. And he was asking God questions. And God was telling him, you're not asking me the right question. And then he asked him, what do we do with the peanuts? And God told him, now you've asked me the right question. He was a scientist. That was his career. And he told him, go to the lab and I will show you many different uses of peanut. And he went to the lab, and God gave him 300 uses of peanuts. 300 uses. And one of them was peanut butter. And that was the invention of peanut butter. That peanut butter that you eat was a divine product. It's a divine product. So, I'm pushing you guys to move to a higher calling. You are talented. And that talent is not from you. That talent is a gift from God. You need to partner with God, and you will get divine products, divine songs. Look at every song that you've heard has come in a divine fashion. It's an explosion. You get? Peanut butter is an explosion. Yeah? And all these honey-coated peanuts, all those are divine solutions. So, I'm challenging you. Is your product out of a partnership with God? Is your book out of a partnership with God? Is your whatever I create wealth? I ask God, what do we do? And I've seen many, many breakthroughs, even where I expected a difficult end. The fourth one, and the last one, is divine profits. And I know the word profits has been commercialized a lot. But I don't mean just profits. I mean impact. How you end your story you must be a giant that others can also stand on you to launch into their future. You get? We've seen what Churchill has created other artists, isn't it? It can be done that way. Divine profits. It's all about changing lives. Guys, it's not about you. It's not about you. If it's about paying bills, it's too small. It can't be about paying bills. And I'm always reminded of this scripture that says, the blessings of the Lord maketh rich and addeth no sorrow. So, if you're following these things, these principles, fundamental principles that I'm talking about, I can assure you the outcome will definitely be divine profits. I can say more, but allow me to close with these words. There is a quote, I don't know who wrote this, but this is what he said. Money is like a shadow. Money is like a shadow. When you try catching it, you can't. It keeps moving. But when you move forward, it follows you. When you move forward, it does what? It follows you. So this is my parting shot to you guys. Don't chase money. Chase your divine purpose. And money will surely follow you. Thank you very much.